the night America thought something fell from the sky. Tonight, we are going back to the summer of 1947, a time when the world was still recovering from war, a time before the internet, before satellites, before humans had ever walked on the moon. In the quiet desert of the American Southwest, life was simple. Small towns, dusty roads, and endless skies. One of those towns was called Roswell. In July of that year, something unusual happened. One night, several people reported seeing a strange light moving quickly across the sky. It wasn't like a plane, and it didn't behave like a meteor. The object moved, almost silently, before suddenly disappearing beyond the desert horizon. Most people thought little of it until the next morning. A local rancher named William Brazel was riding across his land when he noticed something strange scattered across the ground. Thin pieces of shiny metal, lightweight but incredibly strong. He had never seen anything like it before. Concerned, Brazel reported the strange debris to the local authorities. Within hours, the nearby military base became involved. That base was known as Roswell Army Airfield. Soldiers arrived quickly. They gathered the mysterious fragments and loaded them into military trucks. And then something very unusual happened. The military released a statement saying they had recovered a flying disc. The news spread rapidly across the United States. Newspapers printed headlines about a mysterious object recovered in Roswell. People began to wonder, had something from beyond Earth fallen from the sky? But just one day later, the story changed. The military corrected their statement. They now said the debris was simply part of a weather balloon. Nothing unusual, nothing mysterious, case closed, or so they claimed. But many people never believed that explanation. Over the decades, witnesses came forward with new stories. Some claimed the debris was unlike any material known on Earth. Others whispered about something even stranger, that bodies had been recovered near the crash site. The event would eventually become known as the Roswell UFO incident. To this day, it remains one of the most famous mysteries in American history. Was it truly just a weather balloon? Or did something far more extraordinary fall into the desert that summer night? The truth may still be hidden somewhere in the sands of New Mexico. And on quiet nights in Roswell, some people still look up at the sky, wondering what might be watching from above. The story did not end with the military's explanation. In fact, that was only the beginning. After the announcement that the strange debris was merely a weather balloon, life in the quiet town of Roswell slowly returned to normal. But the memory of that strange summer never completely faded. For years, the incident was almost forgotten. Newspapers stopped talking about it. The military moved on, and most Americans focused on the future. After all, the late 1940s and 1950s were a time of enormous change. The United States was entering the tense years of the Cold War. New technologies were being developed, often in secret, and the skies above America were becoming more crowded with experimental aircraft and surveillance balloons. Decades passed. Then, something unexpected happened. In the late 1970s, a nuclear physicist named Stanton T. Friedman began investigating the forgotten Roswell story. Friedman believed the original reports from 1947 were too strange and too quickly dismissed. So he began searching for witnesses. One by one, he found people who had been there. Former soldiers, local residents, even people connected to the military base once known as Roswell Army Airfield. Some of them told unusual stories. They spoke about strange materials, thin metal sheets that could not be bent or broken. Others described symbols printed on parts of the debris. Not letters, not numbers, but markings that looked almost like a mysterious language. These interviews slowly brought the old mystery back into public attention. By the 1980s and 1990s, the story had become famous around the world. Books were written, television documentaries were produced, and Roswell itself transformed. What had once been a quiet desert town became the center of one of the most famous mysteries in modern history. Eventually, the United States government responded. In 1994, the United States Air Force released a detailed report explaining the incident. According to the report, the debris actually came from a secret Cold War project called Project Mogul Poles. These high-altitude balloons were designed to detect Soviet nuclear tests. Because the program was classified in 1947, The military could not reveal the truth at the time. At least, that was the official explanation. But for many people, the mystery remained. Why had the story changed so quickly in 1947? Why did witnesses remember such unusual materials? And why did the event become known as the legendary Roswell UFO incident? Even today, historians, skeptics, and believers continue to debate what really happened that night. Perhaps it was simply a secret military experiment. Or perhaps something far stranger passed through the skies above New Mexico that summer. And somewhere in the quiet desert, the wind still moves across the sand over the place where the mystery began.